Hey guys, it's Marni. Buying a car is a not so fun experience for most people, and it doesn't have to be. At TrueCar.com, they'll help you get rid of the fear that you may overpay. You know when you'll get a fair price because they show you what others paid for the car you're looking for. TrueCar.com analyzes what people are paying for their cars in their market and shares it with consumers so that they never have to overpay. Over 40,000 cars were sold by TrueCar certified dealers just last month. Users see an average savings of $3,046 off MSRP. TrueCar certified dealers go through a certification process, and you work directly with a TrueCar representative that will honor your savings. TrueCar certified dealers believe that truth and transparency are essentials to a better buying experience. First, go to TrueCar.com and find out what others pay for the same vehicle in your market and around the country. Second, register at TrueCar.com to see upfront pricing information and lock in your savings certificate. And the third step is simple. Just print out your certificate and take it to the TrueCar certified dealer for a better hassle-free buying experience. TrueCar has the most comprehensive new car pricing information available and a certified network of dealers that offers a hassle-free car buying experience and negotiation-free guaranteed savings. Support the Ask Women podcast and shop at TrueCar.com.
PodcastOne.com presents the Ask Women Podcast. A place where two comics and a professional wing girl get together to dissect the female mind.
You don't know how I feel.
And explain it to men in terms they can actually understand. Boobs. Now, here's the lovely ladies of Ask Women.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ask Women podcast where you get real advice straight from the source. I'm Kristen Carney, a comedian and confused human being. Follow me on Twitter at Kristen Carney. Of course, we're here with Marni Kinrys, the owner of the Wing Girl Method and best-selling author. And again, we have Anderson Cowan with us. Yeah, I said it right. I chose to say it right because I was still going to say it wrong, but I felt like an asshole. And we have Art in the booth, who I'm remembering to introduce this time. I'm very excited about it.
I don't know why that's happening, but thank you.
I don't either.
You remember every time now.
No.
You keep saying,
No,
yes,
this
you do.
is the first time.
This is, usually I'll say it into the intro, like past
You're like,
the intro.
oh, and I forgot.
Yes.
Was
Art
that, it's
back
like oh yeah, that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me do this. But this was like a much more.
Yeah, that was much nicer.
You want to know actually why I remembered this time was because I just looked over and I said farty arty.
Oh yeah, that's real original.
Thank you.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I'm sure. 6th grade. Welcome back.
We're going back to like preschool. Come on.
Yeah, I'm very mature. But today we have my friend Alli Breen coming on the show. She's a very funny comic, and she's gotten some funny dating stories from dating 90s sitcom actors.
I thought you were saying 90-year-old men. I was excited.
Eventually. She'll get there eventually. Sure, her standards are a little higher right now. And then I just want to say also to our listeners, thank you so much for downloading and for subscribing and for rating our podcast. We've gotten a lot of good reviews lately.
Yeah.
Please continue to do that.
We were shit in the beginning.
Well, actually, we went through a little bit of a phase where they're like, these girls.
Yeah. Who
assholes.
are these people? Like, I've never, actually, you know what? I did give feedback once. I went on Yelp only because somebody asked me to and because they were a fantastic above and beyond salesperson. But I don't think I would go on and like bash people. I don't think I would do that.
That's where it always goes.
If I do it, I do it under a secret identity.
And no one goes on the internet. No one, rarely do people say, I love that so much, I can't wait to talk about it. People are like, fuck you, I'm going to go bitch about you behind your back now.
I actually take time out of my day to make a point to go and be positive on the internet.
That's
just
amazing.
It out. Yeah, I totally
Where do you go and be positive?
Wherever it may be, like Yelp, Twitter, just to show support in places where I see many people getting.
Oh, you're awesome.
You know what the internet...
Go to my YouTube page.
You know what the internet is? It's like Ghostbusters sludge in the movie where it's like under the city and it's just this negative energy.
Ectoplasm.
It's horrible.
Yeah, like YouTube comments are insane.
Speaking of Ghostbusters, if you want to buy the Ghostbusters DVD to see what we're talking about, you can go to Amazon using the link.
Look at that, winggirlmethod.com/Amazon. Yeah, we don't get anything from Amazon.
That's something
Nobody's
really
buying stuff.
Nobody cares. And if you want to support this show, really use that Amazon link. It is the easiest, most free, simple thing to do. All you need to do is have a memory. And I know every single person listening to this show has a memory, I hope.
I hope so too. You know, I think they're realizing that they haven't bought shit yet, and the show is still on the air, so they don't actually really need to.
Right? How is it still happening?
How is it still on?
It's because people are buying on other shows.
Right.
That's what it is.
That's
like
true.
a trickle
That's
down.
keeping us on the air. Well, before I get to something that I want to talk about, I wanted to get to my Wing Girl Minute. All right, stuck in the dreaded friend zone and desperately want to get out of it. If you want to get out of the friend zone, it's up to you to do something. So turn up your seduction dial and start challenging, flirting, and playfully teasing the women you want. Remember, the only one keeping you in the friend zone is you. So stop acting like a friend and start acting like a man she wants to be with. I tried to drag out the end so that it could actually get even close to a minute. I'm going to keep talking.
You can talk slower.
I can. I feel like you have to.
Just let you know when we hit a minute.
Yeah, tell me. I'm just going to wait. Oh my God, I'm so far off.
So if we're in the friend zone, like you gotta be like a little more playful, flirtatiously, right?
No, it's Arts Minute.
It amazes me.
Damn it! All right, turn it off.
It amazes me actually how many people are stuck in the friend zone because I genuinely just have a hard time becoming friends with people.
Right.
The friend zone for me is like that would be heaven. Oh, I have friends. I have people to talk to.
Yeah, you should be happy about the friend zone.
Right. It's
what
not
is happening?
that
Am I really doing it that fast? Or he's like on minute 3 now, right?
Yeah, there's no way. There's
no way. Okay, good. Holy shit, that's right. Anyway, I'm calling it the Wing Girl 15 seconds. Or the Wing Girl tip.
You know the old, it's not even a wives' tale because there's so much truth to it, but like where nice guys always finish last and always the assholes who she likes because these guys
nice guys are
stuck.
fat and they can't run.
That could be it. That's definitely part of it.
Yeah.
Fat people when they run sound hilarious.
Sound hilarious. It looks hilarious.
They sound like they're going to die. That's hilarious.
It's kind of funny, just the breathing and the feet.
Aww.
Anyways,
it's horrible.
It's like as soon as you stop being nice and like friendly to that girl, and you start to be an asshole, that's when they're going to kind of say, "Hey, look."
Okay, but that's black
where
and
it
white.
comes from. That's where it comes from.
Yes,
that's where
for sure.
A lot of
but
it comes from.
there's a lot of middle ground for all of that. There isn't like be an asshole and you get girls, be a nice guy and you don't. Listen, my husband is the nicest man that I've ever met. He also has a backbone and he tells me what's right, what's wrong. He has an opinion. He's not a wimp and he doesn't let me walk all over him.
Right, but you guys are married. You're locked in.
But before, I wasn't always married to him. He got me in some way to be attracted. Although, no, I'm just joking. No, but like,
I think that ladies like to have somebody who's supporting them and very nice on their side, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, if you are a guy and you're doing that for them, they don't want to turn it into anything else where it could become a relationship where he's going to stop being supportive and they're going to start to nag and then
there's some of that as well
at the end of the relationship.
But when I'm around a guy in the very beginning, okay, and I'm looking for attraction, I want excitement, and all I see is like blah, and it's like nice and sweet. It's boring for me. It doesn't make me actually feel anything, and typically because the guy that I'm interacting is sucking up to me in some way.
Right.
Maybe he doesn't realize that, but he is. He's putting his best foot forward. He's showing me how wonderful a boyfriend he could possibly be.
He's treating you like a boss.
A little bit, where he's not really stating his opinion.
There's nothing wrong
He's like, sure, let's do that. I'll be available at 10 o'clock for you to come call me and cry to me about your ex-boyfriend. The thing is,
I did that in 7th grade. 8th grade, I used to accept it.
See, exactly.
I'd stay on the phone with girls all night long. I'd wake up in the morning, they'd still be there.
Yeah.
Swear to God, did that a number of times. And I wasn't even banging them.
Right, exactly. But that's
the poor
the whole thing.
Oh, you're such a martyr.
You tried to please them
I
in
was.
some way.
8th
That's
grade.
the whole thing.
I wanted to be their savior. I wanted to be like the good
that's-
guy. I wanted to be their friend.
It's about being a pleaser, not about being a nice guy. I wish that nice didn't get a bad rap, because being nice, there's nothing wrong with being nice. It's about being a wimp and not asking for what you want.
Absolutely. And people are dumb and they do black and white and boil it down like
Yeah,
I
like,
just did.
that guy's an asshole.
Here's the difference. If you go on a date with a guy and he's an asshole and then he doesn't tip well, it's like that's an asshole.
Right.
But if you have an asshole that goes out to dinner and he tips great, that's an asshole that's a nice guy.
Or
and
rich.
is a nice guy, right? But
No,
are
rich
you saying that he's an asshole to you on the date about he tips well?
No,
and
but
okay?
I mean, no. In general, like if he's a tough guy, he's always like acting like the bad boy, and then the check comes and he's like, I didn't like that waiter or whatever, and
Right.
he gyps him on the tip. But then if you have the guy who's like the tough guy, and then he can see the sympathy in someone who's waiting tables and just trying to make a living,
That's not
and he
being an
tips
asshole.
well. No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
no, that's what I'm
gotcha.
saying.
I was having
That's how you make
following.
that's how you decipher.
This is a
Okay,
conversation
gotcha.
that's on the show recently, over the past few weeks, it's come up continuously, and I really think whoever it was that was in here, the name's escaping me at the moment, but it was
Jason?
there's a difference between being kind. I
Yes.
really
No,
like
yeah. I love that he said
that
it,
was
being
such
kind.
an excellent way to articulate what
Yeah.
you guys were talking about, that it resonated with it. Being kind versus being nice.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what it was he said. I
Because
love how he said
nice,
that
you're
too.
looking for approval. Being kind is just who you are.
Right.
There's a
Yes.
confidence in being kind, and really that's what it comes
And
down
like I can
Yeah,
tell
and I
Anderson
totally
here,
agree.
big muscles, looks like a douche from Long Beach.
Wow.
Right? But
Yes, absolutely.
Sharp and to the point.
but you can tell is kind.
Fuck you, bitch.
You are kind. See,
No,
even.
nice. Anyone can put nice on it. That is well said.
Right,
Anyone
but
can
you
put
are-
nice
I can
on
tell
it.
you
Anyone
are-
can
you are a
pretend to be
kind
nice. It's
person.
hard to pretend to be kind.
I've
I don't
seen you
think
with your
can you
doggy.
pretend to be kind? I don't think you can.
No, you
are
can't.
you.
And that's the
can't.
difference
Exactly.
between
That
nice and
is.
kind.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good way
Nice
of
and
phrasing
kind.
it then.
Thank you, nameless guest of Ask Women's Past.
No, it's Jason Capital.
Was
No,
Jason,
I
that's
don't
right.
think-
Winggirlmethod.com/Jason C. Yes, because he said it
Capital's
before.
really his last name?
No,
Capital?
it's not.
It's
And
not
I make
really
fun of
his
him.
name.
Yeah, that's not a kind
I call
person.
It's not his real.
I call
It'd
him.
be cruel to be
I'm not
kind.
going to say what his real name is, but that's not his.
I
Real
call him lowercase.
It's his
Jason
show. It's his
lowercase.
show name. Okay,
I was thinking city capital.
I wanted to bring up something. So when my mom was in town visiting, we were talking about men paying for dinner. And so we were in the car ride home afterwards, and she goes, you know what, when I was younger, I remember I had a dinner man. And I was like, what's a dinner man? She's like, well, a guy that would just take me out for dinner.
Right.
And I was like, okay, and you didn't date him or do anything with him? She's like, no, he just went out for dinner with me. And they would do this for like a year.
And then she probably had a dude afterwards that was a dessert guy.
I'm sure she did. My mom was a slut. No, just joking. But I thought that was interesting. She's like, in her day, she had a dinner man where they would just, like, she got company, he got company, and he seemed to be okay with it because he wasn't asking for anything else. But most likely he actually did want something else from her.
Well,
There was a friend zone guy.
Everyone probably is familiar with the Black Dahlia who was murdered. It's like an infamous murder in Los Angeles. Everyone thinks she was an actress that was like desperate and she was a slut and all this stuff, and like she got murdered from sleeping around. I actually went on a Black Dahlia tour around Los Angeles.
Oh, expert
it was
coming up.
Incredibly interesting. I actually loved it, but they really talked strongly about how she had dinner men also, but they didn't call it dinner men. But she was from the East Coast. She had traveled out here. Her father lived in Long Beach, but he didn't really care for her, so she was really just trying to survive. And she did not sleep around.
She failed.
She actually had like feminine problems. Like had like
yeast.
It was painful to do it.
Okay.
Basically. It's just emotionally
She could
painful.
only have dinner.
Vaginismus. Vaginismus.
You learned
That
from
sounds
Dr.
like
Drew?
magic.
That's called 15 years on Love Line.
Yeah, exactly.
You
know
everything.
everything
It's called
now.
vaginismus.
I believe it. I believe it. So anyway, she wasn't sleeping around with guys, but she was always seen with men. And so, but it was
Maybe that's
literally
what
just
led
to get dinner.
Her death. Some very, very horny, angry man who was not getting
Well,
what
they
he
actually-
wanted.
Right. He's like, how can he get it? How come I'm not getting
Theory
it?
of the people who ran the tour thought that their theory is that because she had those gynecological problems, she always went to see a doctor who was very well respected in Los Angeles, but he did like pro bono cases, and he basically worked on her for free. And when they found her body was severed in half.
Yeah, well, there's plenty, and she was set
drained
up
of
in a
all
lascivious manner,
Right.
and she had the Joker smile. I mean, he went to town on
But
it.
all
It was bad times.
but all of the incisions were made in a very medical way.
Right.
And
Oh, really?
And they found that doctor had very dark, like creepy porn, like abuse porn and stuff. And he had a lover.
Yeah, back then that is red flags. Nowadays, everyone's got something horrible.
Right.
Right,
Everybody's
but I
got
mean,
dark porn.
that's who they thought it was. But anyway,
Really?
she always
Interesting.
went out for dinners with men, and then
Well,
she got
that's
murdered.
interesting,
So
yeah.
good luck, women.
Yeah, exactly. I know my mom. Lucky her.
You're still hungry now?
Yeah, exactly. Damn. But I thought that was really interesting because she was like, yeah, he had a lot of money and he was a doctor.
Was he much older?
That I don't know.
Huh.
I actually don't know. Oh, he wasn't the doctor. That was from another story. But anyway, this guy had a
was
lot of
dessert
money.
guy.
But my
Dessert
mom,
guy.
but she told me another story afterwards.
Is there a salad guy too? Soup dude?
Tossing her salad guy.
There's a
Wasn't-
crouton guy.
Wasn't Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld, in one of the episodes? Wasn't he the dinner guy?
The dinner guy?
Yeah, and he was furious because he was taking somebody out. I think it might have been Elaine, and he was taking her out, and then she was getting banged right after. He was paying for the dinner,
And she was getting sex
Yeah, yeah.
afterwards.
I
But
remember
I
that.
find
I'm
it
embarrassed 'cause
interesting
I don't
because I think a lot of guys end up
that
being the
episode.
dinner guy, which is like the friend zone, nice guy versus asshole. Even I don't want to say it. But that is
wanna
what
be the breakfast guy.
What,
That's the
yeah,
guy you really wanna
exactly.
be.
But that's what ends up happening is you end up being a dinner man. If you don't want to be a dinner man, then you have to ask to not be a dinner man and show that you want something else. Challenge, tease, flirt, put your intentions out there. You can't just be complacent.
It's hard because
It's
then you're
very
setting yourself
hard.
up for rejection as soon as you do that.
But then you know.
And
And
you know.
then you potentially have something there.
But ultimately, you know what? There is something to be said for the friend part of it as well. Unless it's driving you crazy. But there is plenty of girls that I've been friends with in the past. And even if I'm never going to have sex with them, I'd still like them in my life. to
Right,
some
but that's because
capacity.
you wanted them as friends. Like
Right.
my au pair right now, I'm going to bring
wanna
her
be her
into-
friend?
Yeah, I want to be her friend.
My
totally.
apple?
No, but she's meeting all these guys who are like, I want to be
myself.
friends
Be
with
orange.
you. But as soon as she doesn't really offer anything else up, they're like, see ya. They're over it. Okay, the thing
She
that
has
I want.
big memories.
She does.
Yeah.
Very nice ones. They're not real.
horrible
Okay,
memory.
what I wanted to bring up today
A what?
for
Horrible memory.
this week's chapter in the man's playbook.
Are you horny to win?
I thought you were going to say the thing, and then I was going to hit you with the thing, and then you'll say what the
Oh,
subject is.
okay. The thing is, wait, what do you want me to say?
Oh, I thought you were going to say what I want to bring up is this topic, and then I was going to hit.
Oh, what I want to bring up is something else that my mom did bring up to me last week, which is about if you are interacting with a woman, you're kind of dating her, and you live in a different city, you have to offer another room when you ask her to come visit you. And that's what I want to talk about in this week's chapter in the man's playbook.
Are you horny to win?
Oh, yeah.
I'm horny to never hear that again.
Where's that
Love it.
from?
I love it now. I have no idea.
Arts
From
and
I
Education.
put that together somehow,
So
somewhere.
you had somebody
You
voice
made
that,
it.
or
No,
you
I
find
found
that in the movie?
I found that somewhere. I don't remember where.
Are you horny to win?
I think it's brilliant, honestly. I think it's so funny.
Some
Farty
porn,
already
some
put it
porn that he
together.
was watching, obviously. Okay, so I'm not sure if I explained this correctly, but
I got it. You have to have multiple bedrooms and
right.
Offer.
to
to offer. What if you're a bachelor who lives in a one bedroom though?
Well,
You're
the
fucked.
thing is,
your mom's
you
living in the
offer
past,
to stay
man.
at a hotel, so she is.
But it's okay to live in the past
But
sometimes.
I'm saying, because my sister told me, we went back home, we obviously had a powwow after the show, because this show sparks a lot of great conversation, obviously. And so we
great
were
sleep.
talking about my mom when she was younger, prior to my father. She had met this doctor in Toronto. I'm going to screw up the story a little bit, but he had come down to the United States to work in California, and they were still writing to each other. They were writing letters as well. They weren't even calling each other on the phone because it's very expensive back then. So they would be pen pals. And they
Still
would write
is,
back
by
and
the way.
forth.
Still is.
Yeah, that's true.
My mom's from Canada, and she called, and I pay for her line, and she's constantly calling her
Vonage,
friends.
man.
It's fucked.
Jesus, just get her magic jack.
I told her about that. I don't know how it works.
Oh God,
Yeah.
you have to set it up for her. Okay, but this
So
guy
he's
invited
calling your
her
mom,
to come down to
writing
California and visit him. And because my mom is a little scared to do things sometimes, especially back then, you're going down to California to see.
where
this
was your
man.
mom living?
In Toronto.
Oh, she
I'm
was
from
up in Toronto.
Yeah, so it's exactly like Canada as well. So
I heard it in your voice a couple times.
Oh, sorry.
That's sweet.
But-
so she's like, I don't know, do you have an extra room,
But because he didn't say, I have an extra room, or I'll put you up in a hotel, or something like that, it made her nervous.
Right.
And she said no to it. Had he said yes, I could have been from California, or
You
somebody.
probably wouldn't exist.
Right, exactly. But still, I'm just saying, like she would have said yes if that was offered to her, because she was saying, well, if I went down there, I knew what I was saying yes to. I knew that I was saying yes to sleeping with him and sleeping in the same bed, and I didn't know if I was ready for that, if I wanted it yet. I knew that I liked him, I was curious, but I wasn't ready to do that. And she's a very nervous person. And my sister told me a story about another friend of hers who had a similar situation. My sister is 30 years old, so younger, and she was saying that her friend had met this guy over the phone because one of her friends said, here, talk to this guy randomly. And then the guy asked if he could call her on his own. They became phone friends and email friends and all of that. And then he invited her to London to come see him, and he offered another room. She said yes, and now they're married with 2 kids.
Wow.
So, not
So
that...
the other room is like a red herring almost. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, you want another room? Which is really saying, hey, we're going to bang for sure because you're coming now because you have no excuse not
Right,
to.
exactly. But I think that it instills this sense of choice when you go there. And I think that that's something important to talk about.
What's probably more realistic, and it happens more often, though, than long-term relationships that aren't sexual,
Right.
at least via Skype or FaceTime nowadays. And,
Yeah.
I think what's more apt to happen probably is like there'll be a couple that have not slept together yet, but they're getting close, and then they go out of town. Now, is he in the same position where they go out of town? If they're going to like Yosemite, does he have to get like 2 rooms? 2 beds at least? I mean,
I guess
that's
so.
probably something that's going to happen
Well, the
more
thing
often.
is, I guess if they've built up something and the intentions are known, I don't know, actually.
I guess offer it. Just say, hey,
Yeah.
do you want me to get you your own room? 'Cause
Yeah,
we're not
I
quite
think
there yet.
that's how you do handle it. But I always just kept thinking about this guy with my mom, because they're writing letters to each other. Like, what if he was like, shit, he forgot to include that in the letter, and he'd already mailed out a letter. You can't, like, write another follow-up letter saying, I meant to write this.
Christ, I can't even
Can you imagine?
wrap my head around it.
I know.
And I'm old. And I can't
I know.
wrap my head around how communication, like you leave the house and like if they didn't call, they just,
You don't, or if they did call, you have no idea.
Right.
You have no idea, which means that guys can call over and over and over again. That is the benefit, rather than now where you call twice and you see it.
Right.
You see that you are a stalker
Right.
right away. But the chapter in why am I screwing this up
so
today?
many ways to stalk. Anyways, go
So,
ahead.
yes, but Kristen's like throwing me off by walking in and out of the room,
Kristen,
exactly dancing
she's-
around.
Kristen's got a lot of energy. She's
I'm just a
moved
little pissed
seats.
I'm not really part of the
She got
conversation,
up.
so I left.
I
to
wanted
make
you
a-
to
But I
come
want
over
you to be
here.
part of
No, I'm
it.
kidding.
But no, but I think that's okay. To go back to the offering the room thing, I think that is something that you should be doing if you are corresponding with a woman who you haven't really been intimate with yet. Maybe it's long distance, maybe it's not long distance, but you haven't really met in person.
I want that
Then
room
you
in
put it out there.
marriage.
In
Like,
marriage.
if he offers to get married, he's like, you could have your own room. I'd be like, I'm in.
Well, a lot
Let's
of you
do
ladies
this.
do, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, like my wife kind of has her own room.
Yeah.
That she
yeah.
sleeps in every night?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That's
She doesn't
amazing.
sleep in it. She doesn't sleep in it,
But
but
she
she gets
has a
ready
room.
in it. She keeps her clothes in it.
Oh, well,
it was
that's
supposed
just
to be where
about
I kept my
space.
clothes, but now her clothes are in there, and yeah, it's space.
Yeah, we have a 2-bedroom
Right.
apartment. She has her own room. I don't have a room.
Yeah, I hear that.
She needs her own room to have her room to do things.
And then you guys
I've got a masking taped off corner in the kitchen that I can.
But you sleep in the
very
same
sad.
bed.
Of course, yeah, but she needs to have her own
Well, what's
space.
wrong with that?
Well, we get very little square footage is what's wrong with
Right.
that.
Well, obviously you
right.
don't
It's
need
not
it.
super common.
True.
Right?
We're outdoors.
Exactly.
Chopping wood.
You're men.
Yes.
You
Like
don't
we
need
had
it.
John Sally in here a long time ago, basketball player, and
He gave his wife.
I went to a
own
strip
house.
joint once.
they have separate homes.
He was the only person in there.
Really?
Where?
I believe
A strip
it.
joint.
Oh, I believe
Oh
it.
yeah, I completely believe it. He was
the
probably
only person.
getting ready to
Yeah,
sleep with the person too.
The only person in there. And the strippers. There's just strippers and Sally and me.
Oh, I believe
And
it totally.
a disc jockey that I was dragged there with. Whose name I will not mention.
You're
somebody I know.
causing too
I'm
many
awkward.
distractions
I'm
today.
sorry.
Somebody
My
I know.
friend's here.
You're
Yeah,
throwing
absolutely.
off all of our
Everyone in
vibe.
The LA
It's also
area
this
knows-
lighting. It's weird. Okay, so anyways,
Black
back
Dahlia.
to the
Where
topic.
real quick, I'm sorry, Black Dahlia. Where do they find her body?
Over.
Did they take you on the
over
tour and
Kind
show
of like
you?
the South LA.
Is there like a
out of the
building
city.
there now, or is it
It's
still
all
an empty
homes.
field?
It's a neighborhood.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah,
is
and
creepy.
they took us, the owners of the house that's built on the lot. They're fine with the people coming on. So we were all.
They're
fun.
cool with it. Just tourists going to their house every day.
Well, I don't think there's that many tours.
This
I don't
chapter
think
is
she's-
not very successful, obviously. If
I
you're
don't
going
think
back
she's
to the
a-
Black
I'm sorry.
Dahlia.
We're ADD, man. I'm sorry.
Seriously.
People who listen to podcasts are ADD too. So they
That's
get it.
true. Okay, so now back on point.
Yeah.
What is the point that we're trying to make about
Separate rooms.
Yes, offer a separate
Yeah.
room, right?
I think it's a really great idea. Honestly, I think there's a lot of women like me who are really uncomfortable with the idea of like doing it unless you're super together all the time or you're drunk.
Yeah,
and
it would make
so
me feel safer.
I think also you'll find a really good girl that way because
I think so, too.
And you can tell a lot about her because maybe she'll choose not to stay in that room, and you're like, oh, this girl's
like on
a
The
little nuts.
Forgo forego
Right.
your private
It's
suite.
all
Even
the
though that show's
subtext.
horrible, of course.
The subtext is right there. I have no idea what you're talking about when you talk about that show, but the subtext is there. When you're saying, "Hey, do you want to spend the night?" She says yes. That means, do you want to bang?
Yes.
You say, do you want to spend the night? I have an extra room for you.
That means she wants to get to know
I
you.
want to get to know you, and I also want to have the option not to bang, and that's what I'm
Yeah,
going to go with. This is the
gentlemanly.
subtext. It's what you're not
Very
saying.
kind.
Right.
Farty,
Very
would like to say
kind.
something.
Okay.
Personally, I think that most men, though, will not do that because they want to have the opportunity to not put that out there and not get a yes or no answer and have the chance to either liquor them up or whatever it may be
Right.
that they don't want to offer that.
This
so
is-
they can-
this
But
is
we're
an
saying they have a
option.
better chance to get it
And you know
if
what?
they actually did
This
offer
is an
it.
option for for men who are a little classier, who are really looking to settle down, who want more of a strong structure in their relationship.
Right.
This is not
Right.
the option for like the dude who's like sweaty in his ball sack and like wants to go now.
Wow. That was very graphic.
To put it
And
elegantly.
that wraps up
Wait,
this
but one
week's.
last
Oh, yes.
final
What?
point.
One more point.
I think that what might actually even be as effective than another room is just staying the couch. Especially nowadays, money's tight for people.
Right, that's
you know what I
true.
mean? Saying,
Well,
hey,
as long as she's not
you
staying
can
on the
have,
couch.
You can have my room. I'll sleep on the couch, which I've done a
bitch,
number
take
of
the
times.
couch.
yeah, even
Yeah.
just offering up an alternative. I think you're 100%
Yeah,
correct.
sleeping. Just talk about the sleeping arrangements before
Yeah,
it
so that
happens,
it's not
and it makes you
scary.
look classy.
Exactly.
It makes you look like you're not trying to lure her into your bed, which is what you're doing. But
Right,
yeah.
but then it doesn't look that way.
Right.
At least.
Exactly.
Perfect. All right, and that wraps up this week's chapter in the Man's Playbook. After this break, we have Kristen's friend.
Yeah, Alli Breen, she's a funny comic, and she's going to talk to us about her dating life.
Awesome.
Stay tuned.
90-year-old.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Brody Jenner.
I am Dr. Mike Dow.
We are inviting you guys to come check us out. It's the Brody Jenner podcast with Dr. Mike Dow.
It is a fresh take on life's biggest dilemma, love.
You got Dr. Mike Dow, who's a couples therapist. You got me. I'm not the best, but I do a pretty good job. We'll have a different celebrity guest each week joining the conversation with us.
We are serving nothing but love and relationships on the Brody Jenner podcast.
Go download it every Thursday at podcastone.com. That is podcastone.com.
You're listening to the Ask Women podcast, a Podcast One presentation.
Whatever. Hey guys, welcome back to the Ask Women podcast. We're here with Ellie Breen, the very funny comic, very adorable girl as well. Thank you for coming, Ellie. Thanks for having me. I feel like I'm going to go into NPR mode with you here.
That would be weird.
Today we're going to talk about...
I don't know anything about politics, so I couldn't go into NPR mode.
That would be awesome, an NPR show where people just have no fucking clue what they're talking about, but they still talk
isn't
that
that
way.
America?
Act all
Brilliant.
sanctimonious still.
That's America.
That's
What
not
are you
bad,
talking
right?
That
Any
is what we
news
have.
channel.
No, because America sounds like this, and I gotta tell you what. But it could be cool if they're NPR and they still talk like this, but they have no idea what they were saying.
You just have to end
That's
up
a lot
on the
of
down
people.
note. Everything has to be on the down as
Yes.
opposed to the up. The up
That
is
is
entertaining,
true.
the down is NPR.
That is very true. Do you think they give him, like... lessons?
He was
for
just
that?
saying that Allie doesn't have
Oh
that
yeah,
whole
she
down.
can't hear anything.
Allie's deaf.
I know
Should let the
she's
listeners
weird,
know.
He
right?
did like gesticulate a lot, so he was passionate about whatever he just said.
We all have
Very
headphones
into
except
it.
for Allie.
He was
so
talking about
Allie's
teddy bears.
in here, or-
He's really
I gesticulate on teddy bears all the time.
Very passionate. So I kind of, like dropped the ball last week and just said, oh, my friend went out with this guy and everything was going well, and then he had braids
Yeah.
to go hiking, and that
pretty
kind of
nice.
was like that kind of killed everything.
Well, it was so funny because already to begin with, he has long hair, which I've never dated a guy with long hair. I mean, like shoulder length hair, and so. But the guy, he's like so cool and it's cute, and I was like, I was at the point where I was like, I think I'm really getting into this.
I'll give this long-haired guy a shot.
Yeah, it's cool.
What color hair?
It's like sandy, like dirty blonde kind of.
He's like a
it's like brown dirty.
Southern
It's like
California
unwashed.
surfer dude.
Kind of
Yeah,
a little
okay.
bit, but
He's
he's
got, like, a
not
hipster
surfer.
vibe at
It's
the
like
same
more
time.
hipster. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's more hipster. Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
Does he have a mustache?
He does. He has like a mustache.
Oh, mustache
that goes
too.
Right, too.
Okay, so you gave a lot of chances.
Right.
Okay.
So it's one of the, like, that's not normally my thing, but the guy's great. And so I was like, all right, I think I'm getting into this. And he's so cute because this doesn't happen to me anymore, at least. When someone comes to pick you up, it's like, that doesn't even happen. It's like you meet
No.
someone somewhere.
Yeah.
But he was like, I'll come pick you up. And he doesn't just come to the front door. He parks. He walks up to my apartment
Flowers?
door. And no.
that would be a
too
little
much.
bit much.
Yeah, that would be
way
too
too
much.
With
much.
the braids, especially.
Oh, God.
Did he have the braids when he walked up?
So that's what happened. We were going to go hiking, and we hadn't done anything like athletic. We'd just done like dinners and stuff. So I
the
opened
braids
the
are for
door.
active activities, okay.
Yeah, and he has braids.
No.
And it was just one of those like killer moments where I was like, "No, don't! You have no idea how badly timed
Two
this
braids?
is. Two like pigtails.
Pigtail braids. Okay,
Pigtail
now
braids.
there's also this. Does he know how to braid his own hair?
That's exactly because now I'm
Or is there
picturing
some
him
other
like in the
chick
mirror.
braiding his hair for him?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Was it a French braid? No.
No.
Okay.
Oh, God.
That
Any
would've been-
respectable woman would not have braided
It
his
was
hair.
Princess
He did
Leia
it.
braids.
Oh,
he had
Jesus.
A lot of non-respectable ladies.
Can you imagine?
The little buns.
Can you imagine?
Terrible. Let's go hiking.
Oh my
And
God.
then the worst. Here's even the worst part was
Did
that
you call
like,
him Pippi?
I really
You
did.
should have
I
called him Pippi
know.
Longstock.
Exactly. Calm down, Pippi. This is not going to work out.
Pippi, this is going to work. Turn it around.
Yeah.
So then, when we
the
got
worst
back,
part.
we were going to go to lunch, and
Well,
so
one
we,
second,
like,
I'm going to interrupt
Yeah,
you.
go
Did it make
ahead.
you feel weird the entire? Like, were you fixated on them the entire day?
The first until we got hiking, I was fixated on them, and then we hiked.
Well, because then you got fixated on like being exhausted, so it's like you lost energy.
Exactly. Then you
to
can't
judge.
Then I was just gasping for breath,
Right.
and trying to not pass out. But then we got back, and we were like, "Oh, let's like shower and go walk somewhere for lunch." And he kept the braids in.
After he showered, so he did shower.
Yeah,
So he redid the
showered.
braids?
No, he like just showered, like rinsed off, like didn't shampoo or
Now,
whatever.
this
his hair just
first
kept-
date. Very first
No,
date?
no. That's the only reason that it was.
How many dates in?
So weirdly enough, it's only like the third or fourth
Okay.
date, but I've known him for like 2 years.
Okay.
And I've never seen him wear. I was like, where did these braids come
Did
from?
you
Why did this
address
happen
it?
now?
Oh,
No.
no, you got to address it.
That's what
Well,
I
that's the
couldn't
thing. But if you
figure
wait
out.
too long, then it's like you planned. It doesn't come across naturally, so you almost
Yeah.
have like a window of where you can
So
go
how,
around
how
about
should she
it.
address it?
Ugh.
Is it like a serious
Like, I
conversation, or
addressed-
is it I'm going to make
I
fun
think
of
it
you?
has to be playful. It
Yeah.
would have to be.
It would have to be like, seriously, you're wearing braids? Right
Yeah.
now?
Well, no, it's something like,
really-
Pippi. Hey, Pippi's here.
Kinda like
Rapunzel,
playful
how's
rubbing?
it going?
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on the guy. I mean, if he's a hipster with the mustache, so many of these. God, I sound old when
Yeah,
I say
but-
this, but so many of these young fucking kids are so easily offended too. Like,
Yeah,
are
but
you
yeah,
being
that
homophobic
too.
right now?
But
This
he
is
wouldn't be
right.
dating her if he was, because you're a comedian, so I'm sure you
Right.
yeah,
And
date
he has
people quite
something-
often.
And he has like he
He's
has
funny.
a lot of comedy,
Yeah.
background or whatever. So
Obviously,
I think
making everybody laugh.
Yeah,
One
exactly.
of my
Wherever he
friends said,
goes.
our friend, one of them was like, maybe that's a test to see how you'd react.
Yeah.
And you failed.
That's right. I was like, what's the winning way? Because I think I was supposed to say something if that was a test.
I used to have long hair, and if I show up at a girl's house who I don't know that well, and I'm wearing braids, I'd be shocked if she's not saying something. I'd be just waiting for it. Like I'd
Right.
be wearing it to
That's
get
what
her
you would
to make
think,
fun of
right?
me.
And
Yeah.
especially
known
if
each
it's a
other for 2
comic,
years.
that's probably.
Yeah.
But the thing that's important about
Maybe
this
you
is that
failed.
I think I did. I think I failed. That would be funny if after that he was like, "I'm sorry, but I can't date you anymore.
You have no sense
It's
of
not going to
humor.
work out. This is."
talk
Exactly.
about
You
the
like the
braids.
braids.
and then
I
you like
know.
show up at his apartment with your hair in braids. You're like, please take me back.
Yeah.
See, I'm trying.
But I want to understand more about like what was going through your head and where you are now with it. Like how, if that one, let's call it a mistake, maybe it was a test, but one mistake ruined it for you.
It really could have. Like, if had I not known him for 2 years, and I already really like a lot of things about him, it really could have killed it.
Right.
But the other thing was too, like, we went to dinner once afterwards, and then like I was telling Kristen we're going to play tennis. And so it's already points he can play tennis because it's hard to find people that like me. But I was like, God, like if he shows up with braids one more time, I don't think I can do it. Like I'd have to say something, and I don't know what would happen. But he came with like a regular like like he had like a grungy guy ponytail, and I was like, that's cute,
which is attractive. I find attractive.
That's cute.
That's the tennis look.
You think it has to go back to hiking?
What would be worse, the braids or pigtails just without the braids? I think that'd be a lot worse.
Pigtails would be a lot worse.
Right?
Yes, it would be a lot
But
worse.
maybe that would be so over the top that like obviously he's just fucking around.
Then he's really trying.
Or like the sideways 80s thing.
He has like curled bangs next time.
So because you did like him and you like his personality, it didn't ruin it for you. But you're saying if some guy who you didn't really know very well, so you didn't have an attachment to him, if he showed up at your door for a first date to go hiking, he had braids, that could ruin it for you?
I think I'd literally have to be like, oh my God, I just remembered I have a meeting at 3. We can't do this.
You would feel
it would really be
like the most bad sitcom move to get out of it ever.
Like my phone would ring and I'd be like, what? You're at the hospital. I'll be right there.
So what about other guys that you've dated? Have there been things like that have put you off?
There's been things that have put me off, but it's usually normal things like that guys are too loud or obnoxious or drink too much or like really more typical things. I mean, this was weird. That's not a normal problem that you're like, I like this guy, but he showed up in pigtails.
Right,
well,
exactly.
I told
Allie, you're a bitch, right? If you're like, I'm breaking up with this guy.
Because of that.
Yeah.
I told Allie that when I first started dating my boyfriend, we were long enough in where I could definitely say something comfortably, but he put on a bandana, but it was like in the way
color?
Light blue, actually, like powder blue, which is kind of random. You don't really see that. But he put it on in the way in which my mom would have wore it in the 70s, like back, like she was doing laundry.
Right.
And his hair was long, and that was really bad. And so I instantly said, honestly, I can never see you in that again. It will ruin it.
But that's funny coming from you. That's
well, yeah, because we were that far in.
That's a good way of handling it.
We were far enough in, but it was shocked me because I thought he had better judgment than that.
That's the other
and it was
part.
like, did you fool
But it's a
me this whole
comfortability
time?
factor
Yeah.
too.
Right.
Like
It's
maybe
all
he's
those
comfortable
things.
enough around. I'm kind of coming around on these braids. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Every time I've had this
into it
conversation,
now.
that's what ends up happening.
Does
Or the
two
other, like,
people
I
turn
think he was
around?
testing you, and it was a good move, and I think that he's on. And I'm like, what?
It's a comfortability factor, and like he's comfortable in his own skin, and he's comfortable around you enough that he can do something ridiculous.
But hopefully it was a one-time thing. Let's hope that
Are you gonna
comfort-
find out if it's a one-time
Well,
thing?
yeah. So we've gone out a bunch more times, and like I said,
How
since
have you
I've
never
known
talked about this with him? You have to send him
You
this
have
message.
to.
Now
Just
I'm
play this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you listen to this before we go out next time?
This is something that I just discussed about you.
Yeah, in front of millions of people.
Exactly. In front of, I maybe should have brought it up
Trillions.
to you first,
Yeah.
but this is how I operate. Get used to it.
This is how I'm going to break up with you, actually,
one
by the
other
way.
really funny thing. So when I'm telling them this story, we had like a girls' night at our friend's house, and I was telling him about this. And then I hung out with him the other day, and Lauren lives right by him. So we were walking to get food. We ran into our friend Lauren, and we're talking for a few minutes. And Lauren goes, "Oh my God, it's so nice to officially meet you."
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So he now knows you've been talking about him.
Totally. And he was like,
Oh, that's-
"Oh,
that's a
Which
good
brings
thing.
me
Yeah.
to the Seinfeld
It's not
reference
like
of
she-
Hot and Heavy. If anyone's listening, you know Seinfeld, the Hot and
I
Heavy.
know Seinfeld for sure.
Someone tells the guy Elaine's been dating that she said they've been hot and heavy, and she's like, I never said hot and heavy. Now he thinks I think we're hot and heavy.
Right.
So anyway.
That was right, exactly the same
right.
thing.
But it's
So
not
I was
like, oh,
"Ooh,
you're
she
the
said
braid
official."
guy.
Now yeah.
Unless he has terrible self-esteem, he'll take that as a compliment. Like, oh, she's been
It is a
talking about
compliment.
it.
Yeah, that's what
It's not a compliment in this case necessarily.
Right, that's true.
Oh, this is your
But-
douche
I
with
hope
the
you don't
braid.
know
But you're talking about him in a positive way. You're not saying like I'm never going to see this guy again. He showed
No,
up
I
wearing
like, and I like
braids.
him more and more every time I see him.
Really?
Yeah,
But that definitely, Lauren doing that
I'm getting
definitely did a
jealous right
jump
now.
in the
Why?
relationship.
You
She's
wanna wear
liking
braids?
this guy a lot.
Hey, Anderson,
Oh.
look who's
maybe you should
talking.
try the
sorry.
braids.
The host
whatever.
is talking.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I was talking to the other
Oh,
host.
okay,
Take
you.
it.
Kristen, what's up?
Oh, I was just saying that now they have a jump in the relationship and they have to get married.
Probably
Yeah.
that's the next logical
Can you
step.
But
imagine
that's
his
the
hair
thing.
on the
Oh
wedding
my
day?
God! I was just gonna say it's gonna be like the most ornate. It's gonna have flowers in it.
He's going to steal
Seriously.
your hair
Your
girl.
thunder,
He's gonna
exactly.
you're like, where's my hair lady? My hair's in fucking rolls, and he's got her up
He
there.
plays the groom and the flower girl.
Well, one thing
Yeah,
one thing to
everything
point out
in the
from this
bride.
conversation is that you've continuously said he's not what I would typically go for.
Yeah.
But I liked him. Because we always talk about like personality versus looks on this show and expectations as well. You didn't have an expectation to be with a hipster who wears braids on dates and who has like a mustache or something, right?
No, not only that, but like I said, we knew each other a long time and we never even thought about it. And so his personality really was the factor. I mean, he's really fun and great. Yeah, guys can completely. I think it's more women see through looks easier, and good personality really matters. I think guys have a harder time.
Well, how come it took 2 years to be together?
I'm sorry?
How come it took 2 years for you to notice him?
We lived in the same building.
Okay.
And
so
we
weren't
just
really
said,
friends
like,
with him.
hello, and that was kind of it. And we'd run into each other and chat a little bit, but he just moved, and then he, like, asked me on a date. And
So as soon as he
someone
moves
who
away,
doesn't live in your building is much more appealing.
Which I think, right, that would be so awkward to date someone who lives in your building. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Because you can never be like, hey, are you home? And you have to be like, yeah.
It's very obvious if you're cheating on him. It's like, I just saw you in an elevator with the guy.
You said that you were at your mom's house. Yeah.
Right. Well, so what was that? Okay, so he moved out, obviously, so he wanted to be further away before he asked you out. But did you always like him?
I always liked him as a person, but like I said, he's so not my type that I don't even think I thought.
I met him once, and I would have never ever thought that they would have gone out.
So why'd you say yes?
Yeah, why did you say yes?
Boredom? It was weird.
You ladies are so open-minded.
Yeah, I know. Well, we became like, we were texting and talking a little bit because he acts, and I'm in an acting class, so he was helping me a little bit, and then it turned into like, he was like, oh, I'm going to this play, I have this event thing, would you want to come? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to go. And then that got postponed, so he was like, I'd still love to take you like to dinner. And then I was like, oh, this is like a real date. So it was so gradual, which is also good, because if he just moved out and we never talked and he was like, hey, let's go on a date, I'd probably be like,
any proof that there was a play to begin with?
No. No. We did. We went to the play. It got postponed.
Okay, there really
for like
was.
The next week. There really was. Yeah.
I think that there's very odd things happening, considering that you have not talked about the braids. That he has not brought up the braids. The braids need to be discussed.
Are you saying it could be the demise of their relationship? She's always holding on
Obviously,
to something?
you guys, it's not even the braids themselves, it's that their non-reaction to the braids on both sides
weird.
Tells me that
I
you
think
guys
you
are
should
not
show up with
comfortable
braids
around
next
each
time.
other at all.
Well, now we, but that
what
was
if he
like
had a
the
Hitler
second
mustache?
or
What if he
third.
shaved his mustache down to a Hitler mustache and you just didn't talk about
Ellie
it?
is actually half Jewish.
Yeah, that was
Imagine if you
started big problem.
not talk about it. I like how you said that, like careful.
it should offend
We have a
you
Jew
more.
in the room.
I'm just saying.
Careful where you go.
Look, I'm proud. Look, two Jews.
Yes.
Exactly.
Marni,
1.5.
1.5.
My
Exactly.
dream.
I would have had to say something if it was a Hitler. But the difference is the mustache.
Well, it's a really weird question.
I am so non-confrontational that, like, if it's someone I know really well, if you showed up with something weird, I could
With a mustache.
Like, whoa, if you showed up with a mustache, there's no way you'd get away.
Like when I do in the morning.
If it's a guy, I'm at the point now, I think we're joking around, it would be way more comfortable. But we were still at that, like, I take a long time to get comfortable in front of someone. I'm at that awkward stage for a while longer, I think, than most people might be. So
No, but that's nice. This is somebody you don't really know that you like, so it's kind of nice if you're not completely comfortable with them, and it takes time.
Yeah.
It makes it more fun, like a more of an actual relationship developing.
It's exciting every time I see him still.
High school, butterflies.
It is like that. But now I will definitely have to
call him out.
Yeah. And you're right. Maybe he wanted to be. You're right. Because I think that's probably weird to him that I didn't say anything to.
Or maybe he just doesn't think about it. He's just like, I'm wearing braids. This is my thing.
Because literally I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, she saw him a lot.
That's why that's the craziest. Why
For
would
me, I think what he was doing is like, I've got this really cute chick, and I'm feeling really good about myself, and we're going outside, and I want to show her this other side of me, and he just made the worst decision ever.
Maybe there's like a story behind it, when like a kid with cancer, like that was their dying wish, was to braid a man's hair, and like he was there make a wish. He was just waiting for you to bring it up. He was waiting for you to bring it up.
That probably is what happened.
I bet that's the chances are the highest that was the case.
For sure. Well, I want to get to our next segment, which is called Overanalyze This. We've renamed it. It used to be called Analyze This, but we overanalyze things to death. So most likely we'll get through one question, but people send in questions and we overanalyze them. So are you ready to go?
Just like
ready to go.
Good. All right.
Ready to judge, essentially.
Ready to judge.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Hi. I just started listening to your show yesterday and found it very interesting. I am 28 and the HR manager where I work. I know this is a slippery slope, but is it okay to ask a girl you work with out for a drink? Is manager and manager okay? Is manager and non-manager okay? Or should you just not go down that road? Any advice would be great. Thanks.
I just say no manager, janitor.
Manager,
janitor. Anything else?
Is okay. Play ball.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
I think that it's all okay. I don't know. People get so touchy about workplace things, but
You seem to be touchy about living in the same building.
I know, exactly. It's a really touchy situation.
But people are very touchy about dating somebody in their workplace, typically because they can't handle it. They won't. I think they fear something going wrong afterwards. But if they're mature enough, you can't control the other side, obviously. Right. But if you think that you can handle a situation, no matter which way it goes, I always say do it. Absolutely. You're at your workplace like 10 to 12 hours a day. Some people.
Well, I know I just said the manager janitor thing, but I don't think dating in the workplace is the best. I wouldn't do it unless like I was head over heels for somebody, because it just creates this awkward tension. Now, like if you break up or you show up to work and you're not looking your best and you like this guy and you're being uncomfortable all day, I just think it's way too much of a headache. And there are like a gajillion people in the world that just narrowing it down to your like cubicle.
What do you think, Anna?
Also, if you're, what if you hate your job and then like this guy's doing what you hate and like you're not like bringing out other sides of each other because, you both do the same shitty thing.
Well, what if you are? What if you're having great camaraderie with this guy at the office? You both
then go for it. But in general, I say it's a
Do
bad
any
idea.
of you guys have a 9 to 5?
No, but I have, and I have dated
way
people
back
in our work.
And usually, like, if you're 9 to 5, or if you are your work, and like a lot of these people work like 12 hours. I've had jobs where like I am my job, and it's 12 hours.
Absolutely.
There's really no room for anything outside. Like your world is that workspace.
Yeah.
Like,
Art's nodding.
And
Artie agrees.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I think it's an ability to compartmentalize. If you can both do it, then
Absolutely.
If you can stick her in a compartment.
right.
Then
in the
it's
trunk
okay.
of your
Fits.
car,
Is
it
that a
was
fat
just being
joke?
irritating.
yeah, you stick her there. No, but I think I completely agree with Art, and I agree with Anderson.
People are so lawsuit crazy now too, though, because if it's not an equal position, if someone's higher than the other, then that's a potential.
And he
problem.
works in HR.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
So
he
that
can
would
maybe
be
like
huge.
cook the books if there is an issue. Like he could just kind of like
He's like, sure, I'll file this
misfile.
claim.
Absolutely.
He should work in FR, female resources.
So what are we
that?
saying?
What's-
We're
what's
saying
that for?
yes, date,
female resources.
Oh, I get it.
date,
so.
and it doesn't matter manager, non-manager. I say do it.
I say do it too.
Yeah.
But are they in the same department? Are they going to have to see each other every day?
We need-
But then that's up to
Details.
them, and how much he likes her and how much she likes him. I think it's totally fine as long
Offer
as you
her an extra room.
compartmentalize. Offer her an extra room, exactly. All right, next question. Oh, we got to 2. Hey, ladies, I was great friends with a guy for about 6 months before I moved away, and we have talked daily since. I'm moving back, and he now wants me to move in with him. Interesting. My question is it a bad idea to move in with someone if you have not been intimate yet? Thank you for your time. I love the podcast. Rachel. Wait, okay, so they were great friends with this guy for
Sounds
6
like
months,
my
and she
worst
moved
nightmare.
away, and then he asked her to move in with him. Okay, we're missing a lot of information from this question.
Rachel?
So are they now dating?
Right. That doesn't make. Is that a roommate situation? Or is that
I don't know.
He's like, I just really don't feel like going on Craigslist.
Yeah, I feel like he's asking her to move in because he has an extra room.
Yeah.
So it's
he's
a
a
great
dude.
idea if you
Yeah.
need a
Well,
room.
why not
He
room
wants
with your friend?
to
Yeah.
move his penis into her vagina because he's a dude. It's going to happen.
Probably.
That's
Definitely.
always the bottom line.
So, but her
Yeah.
question is it a bad idea to
Yes.
move in with someone if you have not been intimate yet?
So she's the
So
one
saying that she
planning.
wants to do it as well.
If you want to overanalyze that, yet says it's going to happen.
Yes,
Like,
it's
in
definitely
the,
going
it's
to
in
happen.
the cards.
Right, so she doesn't even need to move into the spare room. She can just move straight into his room.
I wonder if she's the one
No.
reading into it, though. If he's like, dude, I just wanted a roommate. What are
Right,
you doing?
exactly.
Get out of my
She
bed.
said yet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She's the
Oh,
one who's
and
more on
he's gonna
board, and
free-
he's like, wait a minute.
And he's like, my boyfriend Sam comes over every Tuesday.
What the fuck are you doing,
You're really
bitch?
messing this
Yeah.
up for us.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so we're a little bit confused, Rachel, but let's say you guys were talking and flirting beforehand. Okay, so is it a bad idea if they're still in the dating phase to move
Yes.
in without being intimate? I say yes.
They should
Yes.
just get married, I think.
Yeah,
Just cut to the chase.
Yeah, exactly. But I think yes. If they are in a dating stage but they haven't been intimate yet, I think that's a bad idea.
There was an
Get your
order.
own place.
There was an order of things that must
Absolutely.
be followed.
Yes.
You start with the date, then you kiss, then you
then you have
eventually
kids, then you get
bang,
married.
and then you move in, and then
Did you say professionally bang?
no, maybe a bang, probably.
Oh,
a bang.
maybe. Okay.
And then you move in, and then you have kids, and the marriage, and then you get divorced, and then you
Yeah.
And then you die.
Circle
Date
of
younger
life.
people.
Life's amazing.
Exactly. Then you date younger people. Okay, so that is our answer, Rachel. Oh, we have time for one more. Howdy from Texas. I love the show and I appreciate all you have done to help men become better with women. Can you please explain what it means and what she is thinking when a woman gives you the deer in headlights look? I have encountered this quite a lot, typically while having a rapport with a woman and the conversation is clicking and generally all is well. Then the almost all of a sudden, there is an awkward pause and then the look. I have my theories, but
Do
I
you,
would like
like-
to hear from you to get your take on this.
Is he saying like I love
Frank.
little boys? Like
Right,
there
we
has
need
to be
more
something
details once
extreme.
again.
Yeah, exactly. She's reacting to something that you have
Like
said.
you
So there's-
unzip your pants immediately. Is that when it happens?
Right,
This is
and it
a
happens
personal-
over and over and over again. That's
Right.
kind of disturbing.
Yeah, there's something that you're doing that's like throwing women off. So figure out what that is. But I
Yeah, what
completely
is it
agree
that
with
you
guys.
say right before the
Yeah, exactly.
things happen?
Because
That's
that,
what you need
stop
to
doing it.
do. Yeah.
Exactly. You're like, what do you think? Obviously,
I
you're
think
thinking something.
Asperger's.
Because he had a deer in headlights look.
Yeah, just now. That's my. That's my
He gave
thinking
us
was-
all
yeah,
deer in
yeah.
headlights just
Yeah,
now.
you're just
Yeah.
like, what?
Honestly, there's a man with a suit out there, and I'm highly distractible, and I didn't hear the part that made him have the deer in the headlights, so I missed.
He doesn't know what the part is. Okay. He says something, and then suddenly there's and he
doesn't tell you guys what he says.
Right.
Oh, I bet it's good.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
I wonder if it's always the same thing. Too.
I know exactly, and he can't figure it out. He's like, what is it that I do? All right. Well, that wraps up this week's episode and this segment of Overanalyze This. If you want to ask questions, write into ask@askwomenpodcast.com and download episodes of our show every week, and also subscribe so you don't actually have to download. But I want to thank our guests. Please plug yourselves and tell people where they can get in touch with you.
Internet,
you go first.
Sturdy. Film Vault After Disaster. Yeah, we talk lots of films and stuff on the film.
I can tell by the film tattoo you have.
I got a film tattoo that people think of the snake. This week we're talking about top 5 movie weapons.
Oh, cool.
Like we got stuff for the ladies too. We did top 5 weddings a few weeks ago.
Your bicep should be the top movie weapons.
You know what? I need to change my shirt. This is just a shirt and it was too small. Okay, I just threw it on.
Kristen has a deer in headlights look.
I love it.
Deer in the headlights.
Well, check out.
Allie, where can we find Allie?